All right, motherfuckers. We're live. Hello. Can you hear me? Can I hear myself? Okay. Today we're going to go over how to spot bullshit in an increasingly bullshitty online environment. Hello, everyone. It's Mike Barbarossa coming at you. That's two bars, Barbarossa. Everyone's been saying Barbosa. It's just kind of like one of those natural things. Naked Ape says my marketing is shit. Now I guess he's right because not everyone. I don't have an easy to remember name, so just remember, guy walks into two bars, Barbarossa, not Barbosa. It's just one of those silly little things, but we're going to go over today. Head on the chat. Halo Master, Hellbound Heathen, still with me. 2 strong, 3 strong. Okay, we're going to go over a little bit like I was saying, how to spot bullshit in an increasingly bullshitty online environment. I'm going to go over a couple of things like the bullshit meter that I had it was coming out in the whole pagan minotaur thing. And let me how to spot bullshit. I go to screen share. Gonna go to screen share. And like and the whole pagan minotaur thing was that just, there's improbabilities. There's when you come across something, and if you see an improbability, you want to look into it further. And if it's improbability on top of improbability, then that's when you come across some bullshit. So with the whole pagan minotaur thing, what I was the first thing I was thinking is that they said it was his neighbor. This is his neighbor. Okay, and what comes into play there is hello chat. What comes into play there is that now how does your neighbor get your online information? Because it's like 2 separate worlds, and there's only way that that's feasible. It's either a huge coincidence, or that person has someone has confided in that person, and that's where it doesn't make sense. Now that's improbable. Like I was trying to point out that you could tell your neighbor, everyone's in some kind of group or something. So you tell your neighbor, oh, I'm in this Facebook group. I've got this channel. It's going to go in one ear and out the other. Now, how does that stick? I mean, how does any neighbor, you have to go through step by step in the real world, how that would actually happen. And these were neighbors. He was an anti-vegan channel. Now, if his wife, he said he confided in his wife knew his wife told the neighbor. Now, if his wife and neighbor were real good friends, then that seems more probable. But if they were real good friends, the wife would know that the neighbor's a vegan, and the wife would know that Pagan Minotaur channel is mostly anti-vegan. See? So why would he... I'm trying to think, what the hell's going on here? Why would she tell him? Or why would she tell her neighbor that, hey, my husband's got this channel? And then, like I say, at that point, when the information is revealed, where do you go from there? It's usually 99.9. So we've already got one improbability that they would even find out about the channel. The next improbability was her, instead of going in one ear and out the other, she's going to, oh, what's the channel? How do you spell it? Or she would give the link. And there's another improbability that she would actually, you know, and it's not like Red Sun channel. It's something you'd have to spell out and everything. So she would have to feverishly go to her, just dedicatedly go and then connect it up. And from that point, she would have to dig in because of all the everything that this Denise Green knew. And this is, I'm going to go over everything without any of the other information, just the basic information that came out firsthand, not the detailed information that was dug into later. Makes absolutely no probability that this is true. Okay, so the neighbor has this information, and then improbably they dig in online and find out what his channel is all about. Now, size matters, okay, because I mean, if someone has 1 million subs, that's a big deal. But if someone just has a few subs, no one cares. And even if you see it, no one cares. So why was that neighbor, you know, so obsessed? It doesn't make sense. And then now you've got a neighbor, knows the channel, obsesses over it, is upset. And if you look at their demands, what they were saying, they were all over the place. They were saying, there's one thing. First, they were complaining about the grilling. Then it says here, you live behind me. They give the address, and they're all over the place. They're complaining about the grilling. They're complaining about him. Then they make this all over the place. You need to stop eating meat and go vegan. And you need to take down the videos. Well, really, if you look at, okay, here's Pagan Minotaur on Social Blade. If you look at his history, he was getting single-digit views every single day. So you've got these videos, no one's even watching them. He would go entire days without anyone seeing any of his 26 videos. So we're talking about these videos that are very, very seldom looked into. They're older videos. And a neighbor is obsessed with taking those down. That doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, there's always a motive. I mean, no one ever climbs to the top of a 30-foot tree to get one apple. People do things. There's an end, you know, an end result that they want. So there's this person and knows about his Discord friends. You know, see, so without him being him, it's got to be someone very obsessed with this channel. And here, like the point I was making about me, who had 10 times more subs, 100 times more views. I could ask everyone in the world, who are the 2 vegans I debated? Who are 2 people I've collaborated with? And who are 2 people I've had on live streams? All 7 billion people would not know the answer. It is very strange for a very small channel to have someone obsessed like that and over nothing. And they've done a very dumb move. They've revealed where they are. They've made an illegal threat. What they will get is nothing. Some videos that are not even being viewed are going to be taken down. And this comes up into, it's just so improbable at that point. I cannot get past, and you don't have to get past, Pagan Minotaur's neighbor finding out of his channel, obsessing over it, and just at that point, and then it just gets more absurd from there. See? You're always going to look at improbabilities like that. Another thing is the way that people talk in the real world, and in the way that, like, say for instance, if you listen to a line from like Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones, you know, glory to victory, and it's not a natural way, but it's kind of like Shakespeare, but that's fine. It's theatrical license. It's enjoyable to watch. But if you ever watch like the skill of like Woody Allen movies, how that's kind of more naturally how people talk, the stutters and stops that people do, like in Woody Allen movies. Okay, people write that way too. There's a natural way for people to write out text and it's going to be different from contrived text. And that's what we ran into a lot of here with this, because what was odd was in their messages, everything was English except for the word pork, and that doesn't make any sense. And here what it says right here about the lamb. Lamb kamzar is Arabic for pork. Where is it? That confused me. It says, I'm tired of him cooking lamb kamzar. So you're doing this whole sentence in English except for a key word which we need to understand. I'm thinking, is that lamb? So look up, lamb kamzar means pork flesh. So this is unusual. But you got to understand, if someone's contriving a sentence rather than speaking from their truth, it's going to be different. You're going to find little mistakes like this. And I didn't. Incog's original video, it has what they said at the end, which is really, that's the worst contrived part. And they said something like, I would strike you down. And that's just not, it's very contrived. You know, it's very, very, you know, something that someone has thought up rather than something that someone would actually even write down in their feelings. And so the whole thing is, I just, from the get-go, you just knew the probabilities, because you got improbable on top of improbable on top of improbable. And that's where, like I say, I opened up, I tried to steer the whole ship. I, you know, contacted Cognitive Thought Institute, and I said, hey, you guys need to really relook at this, look at my video. And we kind of went from there. But so I was thinking about that and some of the things that happened online, and some of the things like I caught that I caught, and it was this, and then the other thing was a lot of the we'll go over the and so I thought, where's a treasure trove of bullshit on YouTube that we can kind of pick through and be like kind of like a gold mine, where you got to pick through it, but the gold is there, and that is Russian Deadpool. So this is stuff that I went over today, and I hadn't even looked into this before, but let me gather my thoughts. We still on share, and so we were talked about Russian Deadpool and his and what is supposedly federal law enforcement. And what we dug up is, okay, he's got these 3 videos, and in these videos he's starting a live stream, and he says, oh, he's in his uniform. And then, oh, guys, I've just got off work. And so, and in all 3 of these videos, he's got his uniform on. And he pulls off his uniform. Like, yeah, I guess, you know, it's like, one time I could see that you were late for work, you had a live stream. But 3 times means that you're contriving that. You're staging this scene where you're getting off work and you're in your uniform. And he always takes off his uniform, and underneath is his instructor. It's his old martial arts, defunct martial arts, and he's trying to make himself look like a some kind of martial arts instructor at this federal police officer level. But what it is, you can see this right here, guys. DEC, and then there's a 8-sided emblem there. You can see after the DEC, there's not much room left for anything else. That is this right here. DECO protect. This is this provides security guards, and these are the guys in the little shack who you sign in for before he puts the armor up. He's the guy on the front desk. It's got the monitors. It's got the uniform on, and they contract out, and they'll even do things for government. That was his job, though. But that's what he was doing, or we don't even know if he was doing that. He was at sometime at some point he was security guard, but so he might have just had this uniform that he had. I think he probably failed his piss test. He probably was out there for a few months because they do work at high secure areas. But he's always coming in all 3 of these videos. He's just getting off work from his job, and he's doing all this training. And so here's the first one.
Sam Harris had him, yes.
So they talk for a while.
What they're proving by that is that they themselves are not very
study where you get
and then
your
she talks for a while, and then he goes and changes out of his uniform, and they do the rest of the stream in his uniform, without his uniform. But he was just getting off work, which is, it's contrived and staged, and that was the whole part of the whole thing. We'll get into that. I just digging into these was a lot of fun. And the theme you're going to see throughout these is a number of themes. He's white knighting. Okay. He's blowing up what he's doing. He's going to a rent-a-cop job, but he's trying to blow it up that he's going into these federal facilities, and he's going to do some martial art training. He white knights, and he always comes into the situation where everyone's being a sexist, and he's standing up against the sexism. And that was his lie for the military, was that there was some sexual harassment or rape or sexual assault, and they were trying to cover it up, and Russian Deadpool came in and white knighted, and that's how he got out of the military. That was his lie, and he repeats this same thing over and over again, and it's pretty juicy, and so we'll go to that. Let's go to this first one.
So someone who is very good at linguistics, but no.
If everybody hanging in on the way I'm bumbling around tonight. Okay, again, he's coming back from his law enforcement job. Let's play that and see what he has to say.
The gentleman, I am Russian Deadpool of the Skeptic Feminist, and I am fucking exhausted. No, I'm gonna keep this. This is going to be a positive episode, okay? A positive episode, despite this abortion of a fucking day. Okay, all right.
Okay, now he goes through his routine of
right. So
just got off work.
God damn it. Okay.
A little fast forward. He takes off his uniform here. There's something he says right here.
Security, DHS, and
lying about the job here.
Homeland Security, DHS, and FPS, the Federal Protection Service. So
now, there might be some tiny bit of truth to that, because their Federal Protection Service does contract out with these private security forces. But like I say, they run the shed out front. The deeper security, they're not involved with it anyway. They check IDs at the front. They check the monitors. It's very low level. He has no experience, but he's going to try to trump that up.
So I am... what we do, myself and my team, is we teach military-grade self-defense, Muay Thai, Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Israeli Krav Maga, etc.
No certifications whatsoever. That's going to most certainly be a lie. He's going in as a security guard.
So we're invited here to Denver for the next 3 weeks. Already been here 1 week, and I've had all sorts of issues being a social justice bot.
Now here we're going to throw law enforcement and military under the bus for his white knighting.
With the machismo culture that is very reminiscent.
You guys listening to this okay? Hello. You guys, anybody in chat? Anybody? Hello. Something's still playing there. Okay, thank you very much. I was looking, hoping this wasn't a disaster. Okay. Now here he throws he's going to throw, for his white knighting, he's going to throw the military and law enforcement under the bus as a bunch of oversexed attacker of women. Pretty much throughout, he throws everybody, every industry under the bus, and he's the only good guy out there.
Of the military culture that is found in this law enforcement culture. A lot of these folks are ex-military. A lot of them are you know, have been in law enforcement for years. Regular cops, now they're feds, and I've had a few issues. But today was going to be a positive episode because you guys made me feel so much better from the last one with your wonderful fucking comments. I mean,
okay, blah blah blah. Gets out of his uniform now. It's a routine. Just got off work there. Teaching military grade self-defense. Wrong. Being a rent-a-cop in a shack. Check the ID. Okay.
Fucking day. I mean, first thing, myself.
Steel valor.
United States Army. And so he's doing his usual is a misogynistic Trump-supporting pig. And he is also a war vet like myself of the United States Army.
Bullshit.
And so he's doing his usual shtick of talking shit about women, and I'm doing my usual shtick of setting him in his place.
Okay, white knight there.
With polite debate.
Over and over and over again, he white knights. Everyone's being a sexist bigot. They're grabbing pussies. They just want to fuck that bitch, and he sets them straight, just like again and again and again.
In between classes once again, but this is right at the start of the fucking day. I mean, first thing. And you know, he's doing his whole pro-Trump, anti-Hillary thing, and he's talking about how global warming is a hoax and that he's aware. This white rocket scientist who is also a veteran.
He's coming up with the unicorn women, and that's one of his huge things. Is he's just he orgasmed over these women in the military, these powerful, tough women, and he was always glorifying them, and so he's going to come out with a bullshit story about a unicorn.
You know, again, works for FPS. So we're arguing with him and his mates about global warming and Trump and fucking qualifications of women. The rocket scientist's wife is a combat specialist, you know, and she constantly kicks his ass and whatnot. And he's not a pushover, let me tell you what.
So this woman is a combat specialist. She kicks the ass of a very physically game grown man. That type of woman does not exist in the world. The average kind of big armed guy at the bar can beat the strongest woman in the world at arm wrestling.
So we're speaking from something of experience.
But this all feeds into his narrative. Quite a bit. Let's see this other stuff he says. And this guy, okay, he's coming up with another guy, this guy, and great improbability. You know, most people are sympathetic to Native Americans, and some people understand. But can you think of anybody in the world whose opinion is to take the Indians and take the Native Americans and kick them off the reservation? Well, again, up with the unicorn, but that sets him up for his white knighting. He's going to describe this guy, and even if you had that opinion that you hate Native Americans and they should need to even be, kicked off the reservation if they get in the way, you certainly would not reveal and talk about that stuff at a security job that has high level security for some installations. It's just absurd. So let's hear him talk about this guy.
To be moved to yet another reservation, so that because there's some conflict about pipelines or something right now in a certain area that he's aware of, and that they don't want to move. The pipe company, the oil company wants to make the move, and he's like, yeah, they should just fucking throw them down to Arizona or something.
That actually made no sense, because if he's talking about the Dakota Access Pipeline, it went outside of the vast unused lands that are on the Indian reservations, and it's the Indians that came along and said, no, we're claiming that land. But again, it's a guy who hates Indians so much he wants them driven off their reservation. Which is, again, it's just, when someone is a liar like that, the landmine of improbabilities are everywhere, and they keep stepping in them.
Okay. So he's also, so some of the other people in class aren't complete imbeciles, like a lot of these people are great people, and I'm proud to have them serving the country, but these select few just, fuck me, god damn it. it literally makes me nauseous, considering that they hold life and death in their fucking grasp. All a bunch of.
Again, we don't know what he's talking about because he's just going to his rent-a-cop job, and he's making up these stories that he's in this big, huge training center, and he's coming up with all these white knight situations.
Misogyny, overt sexism toward female officers and women in general, and so now it turned personal, as it happens when you are losing. You make it personal. So
see, there's the white knight situation over and over again. He comes up with these sexist pigs, and he's fighting them. Let's see that again and again. White knights again, right here.
So I was pondering it. But being as how these two are the only pricks in the class that I've had any real conflict with, I mean, I've gotten plenty of cold shoulder from everyone else for being Mr. Feminist. You know, Mr. I don't like this locker room talk horse shit. Let's lock it up, gentlemen. Let's be fucking professionals. And I'm not emotions about it. Being for which
here's stolen valor coming up,
of which I am now a citizen, of which I've served in the armed forces of, shed blood for, been to war for, and would be willing to shed blood for again were I to take this federal position.
And he's talking about he's in training for some specialized position when, like I say again, he's just working as a rent-a-cop. Let's see, white knights again.
We all agreed to be friends and put it all behind us. And furthermore, he put them together. And I am now in the pricks room. And I am not interested in making this toxic fucking machismo environment even more noxious for myself. So, told him I did. He told me that shit's ending today. So he had a talk with them. Then
So again, he white knighted. He found the sexist pigs, and he went to his boss and says he stopped all that. He white knighted it all. They had a talk. Said no more sexism. Just okay. Again, they're back to the same uniform, the Deco security guard uniform. Again, this is the third video where he, on that video, yeah, he gets out of his uniform. And you think there's always a reason for that, and his reason here is it's either like a show off, or I think it's like guys like me who are talking shit. It's just like kind of like a little bit of a veiled threat, you know, like here I am, I'm a federal officer with a gun and a badge, and I think he was trying to make people nervous who were his haters and talking shit to him online. But again, this is the Deco Incorporated Security Services uniform.
Not sure that this is going to be a very entertaining episode.
And this is this is about pretty much the exact same thing. Everyone's a sexist pig. I white knighted. The military and cops are sexist pig shits. Yeah, a lot of bullshit here.
I'm going to be very candid, using the YouTube once again for therapeutic purposes. Get things off my chest, you understand? So I've done like 2 videos now talking about my time here working with FPS, Federal Protective Service. So, like I said before, of course, as you people probably know, we teach
he's going to go on
Federal Protective Service.
He's going about what he teaches, all this bullshit.
So, like I said before, of course, as you people probably know, we teach military-grade self-defense. And
he has no accreditation. His so-called martial arts studio is defunct. It's shut down. The only thing he was doing is he was teaching little kids bully proof. That's the only thing he had going right then. He has no accreditation as far as martial arts. There's no way he's teaching martial arts on the federal level.
I've had some issues with certain people in the class.
And guess what those issues are, guys?
It was really just one guy up until now. Catch up on it by all means with the previous videos. But what? Whereas before it was maybe 30% of the class that was kind of going along with the sexist bullshit. One of the instructors pitched in today.
Nice clip-on tie. That's Rent-A-Cop. So
to the point where it was more
attire.
than 30% of the class that was with me. On the
there was the badge freeze again.
30% of the class. 30% of the class.
Look at the good freeze on the badge. Daco, 8-pointed star security guards.
That was with me. On the, not finding that shit amusing. So
he goes on and on about his white knighting. Everyone's sexist.
Like I said, I'm feeling a bit depressed.
The removal of the uniform. Just happened to start his live stream right when he got off work. He couldn't schedule a live stream like an hour after he gets off work so he can change and shower and relax a little bit. Yeah, there's just a purpose to that. Just
today.
Just always putting on a big stage.
And it was specifically incidental. Like it wasn't just chemical or whatever. It was really brought on by certain comments. A lot of comments today, actually. So first, there was a discussion between classes, so our off time, about women in the military. And this gentleman was giving a very good defense of it, but he didn't really have a lot of examples. So I pitched in, with the IDF and the YPG and women soldiers in general. And
his fetish there, but he's going to hear some more good white knighting here.
And we're talking about the military specifically, not just law enforcement. We're talking about like, oh, well, infantry guys they're just kids, they don't know any better or whatever. And to which I said something like, if you can't count on soldiers to respect their fellow comrades, how the fuck are you going to expect them to respect female civilians? And women are half of the population. You need to get used to them. Professionalism in dealing with women. Where my mood got to shoot an RPG, which is like a rocket launcher. I'm going to Thailand.
And here we're talking about some real tall tales from Thailand here. Good. Listen to this.
Talking about an anecdote of him going to Thailand and for like $2, he got to shoot an RPG, which is like a rocket launcher, at a live cow. And I think this is the part where my mood started going downhill listening to this shit.
No, it's white knighting for the animals.
It's all on their off time.
Yeah, I should look that up. There is in Cambodia where you can take a rocket launcher and shoot a cow with it. He said it was $2. It was $400 to do that. I said $2 is a little cheap for a cow. It's going to have a lot more value than that. But he goes on.
This is breaks in between classes, and so the rocket sticks into the cow, and it moves and it knocks it over, and then it blows up. Everybody laughs. It's fucking hilarious. Apparently, I
probably saw that video online and.
About animal rights. So I let it go, which is probably why I feel so depressed about it, because I didn't say anything.
No, No, if this all was true, he that just makes him to be the biggest uptight prick that you would never want to work with. he's offended on everything.
Then he was talking about how also for $2 you can punt a midget off a bridge. Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense either. A midgets usually weigh about 80 pounds. If you punt someone, you have to kick them. That's going to hurt them. No, that's just another bullshit story. There's a midget that you can pay and you can kick. You can actually punt him. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Ostensibly into water, I assume. And so I'm sure Tyrion Lannister would just love that. And you know what else you can buy for $2 in Thailand? Kids to fuck.
How do you know that?
It's an amazing place, isn't it? Because they were all singing the laurels of fucking Thailand. So ostensibly they don't want to be pegged as kid fuckers. So that shut them down again. Just Captain Killjoy. When I was in Thailand,
Think of a good story.
Last time I was in Thailand, but my mother paid I'm serious, one-armed, one-eyed, one-legged Thai man in a cage, who had a cage, to let me into the cage where there was a mama tiger and her cubs, and I got to sit with them and pet them and stuff. And
that's bullshit for a number of reasons. First of all, it's an extremely dangerous situation to go in and pet a tiger's cubs. But here he's going to finish the story. It's going to make it.
In retrospect, clearly the tigress was sedated.
So why would you take something as valuable as a tiger with cubs, sedate the mother when you need to have everyone healthy, because those tigers, don't regardless of what you do with them, are going to be very valuable. You can sell them to a zoo or sell them to somebody who's going to, they might kill them, but sedate the mother. That's no guy.
Can't imagine what kind of horrible shit they put her through in order for her to not have bitten my fucking head off.
And he's offended by that.
Kissing cobras, anacondas around my neck, wrists, talking about how he's taking feminist courses in the local college, and feminazi 101, as he said. And they're like, man, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And he's like, to know your enemy. And everybody laughs again. So then the instructor joins in. He's been laughing along this whole time, and he talks about how these jokes are all nice and well, but he's really glad that there aren't any women in the class, because last class he had this woman with really big fucking tits, and his words,
sexist and white knight,
and she's worked security for various federal agencies before, so she's used to the law enforcement culture, as he said. And but still, that guy in one of his classes really crossed the line. But tell us, talk about like a positive reaction, oddly enough.
More white knighting.
And don't demean them, It's very interesting how that works. It's almost as if respecting a fellow human being is somehow going to have a positive reaction. And then I tried to explain the intricacies of a polyamorous really, and and I just kind of reiterated what I said at the top of, as far as like if you can't count on law enforcement to respect their fellow comrades, female comrades, how the fuck can you expect them to respect female civilians?
White Knight again and again and again. And here is White Knight and Stolen Valor in one nice little package right here.
I had the same fucking issues. I had the merit of being higher ranked than most of those fools. But nonetheless, that toxic culture that makes me as a man feel uncomfortable. This toxic aspect of military culture, of law enforcement culture, of the let's get drunk and get some pussy and beat the shit out of fags culture. It's not good for anyone.
Yeah, fucking goddamn. White Knight, back in his imaginary military career. And again, like I say, he was throwing law enforcement and military under the bus as a bunch of sexist pigs who grab pussies, and he's the White Knight. He's the good guy.
You know, when you have your instructors or your commanding officers joining in on the fun, that gets everybody else nodding along.
So disgusting, all that sexism.
Yeah. You don't toe that hard blue line, man. You are on your own. Well, I would rather be on my own and be right. But one thing's for sure, I'm not having fun here anymore.
Yeah, I just thought I'd go over all that. I just dug that up. I had mentioned in my video that I initially did before him that yeah, he seemed to be always getting out of that uniform. Just like I said, yeah, I just got home, but he's obviously just trying to pull shit. And I wanted to go over just like one more thing about the pagan minotaur thing, of the whole thing about how, I don't know if it was explained very well about how there's like the smoking gun part of it. And the smoking gun part is, it's Denise Green is the doxer, okay? And gives his name and address on several occasions. The presiding judge, Pagan Minotaur, said, yeah, that's my doxed information. And we had cross references. We was able to look up things and to cross verify that Pagan Minotaur, the person that he is, does live here. So we've got that positive ID of him at that location, okay, that he did himself, okay. And the whole thing is that the neighbor doxing him, this Denise Green, says, I live behind you. So what happened is Zeph, and he gave a name because he was a Muslim guy. He said, well, I'm not going to give the right name, but I'll give a substitute name. He said the husband's name is Ahmed. So Zeph is good about looking shit up like that. Went to the street behind Pagan Minotaur's confirmed address and looked for an Ahmad on that street, and he found one. And he got positive. He actually was able to dig up a picture of him and a picture of the house, and it was on the right street, the street that's right behind Pagan Minotaur's confirmed address. They then showed Pagan Minotaur that picture of that house and the picture of the husband, and he confirmed that's the house, that's him. So they took that information, and it's just kind of battle of the doxing, this kind of, and emailed it to Denise Green with the picture of the house that was supposedly Ahmed's house, and the picture that's supposedly Ahmed. And Denise Green emailed back, why are you messing with me and my husband? Which now Denise Green is confirming this Ahmed's name and address. So both Pagan Minotaur and Denise Green have both confirmed that this Ahmad is the right guy, okay? But that guy was 7 blocks away, so there's no way. And then there was other things, the police report, but that was kind of the smoking guns that just lined up, and then we kind of backed him in. We looked up the police reports, which show every little parking ticket is shown on that police report. Every interaction with police is shown. And he said, I filed 3 police reports, And I've been to court with these people over racism, which doesn't make any sense. Racism is not any kind of, it has to be their crime or damage to go to court. That doesn't make any sense. And so then he said, oh, I talked to the police. There's no police report, to try to back out, like say I lied. But even that was a lie, because if he talked to police, it would have been on that blotter. So anyway, yeah, you just gotta really look at that. If when you see an improbability, look deeper. And like I say, if you got all these things that should line up, and like say 6 things, and one of them does not line up, and another one arguably doesn't line up as probable, but the other 3 do come along, the other 4 do come along in the probable lines, you probably got something that's, you don't have something that's, but if everything is not lining up, if this is not lining up and you look deeper, and this is not lining up and you look deeper, and this doesn't line up, now all these things usually come up. There are explanations. It is possible, but okay, it's improbable, it's possible. This is improbable, but not impossible. Okay, if they're all in the same situation, you're probably looking at some bullshit. And you just gotta, like I say, you just got to just compare. Just kind of trying to look at what normally would be, and you can see like everything about this, I mean, is not something that someone would do. There's no motive for Denise Green to make these criminal threats just so some old unseen videos can be taken down. It doesn't make sense. When everyone puts in an effort, they expect something out of it. They wouldn't do it if they didn't put in effort. So why is Denise Green putting in this effort and going through all this risk just to have, I mean, the grill thing, that's just a neighborhood annoyance. The fact that, and if someone who grills regularly, they have a nice setup in their backyard. They just have a grill, and they have a place to put the grill, and they have utensils and a little place to hang it. And when he showed that video of an almost brand new, tiny, unused grill sitting on the ground, so there's not even a place for it, that shows that someone who doesn't grill. People have small grills like that. They use them like when they want to go fishing, and maybe they want to grill a couple hot dogs. So it's like a little portable go fishing, go picnic type grill. That's not a home grill. He should have shown his home grill if he grilled. So that's everything that just doesn't line up. Anyway, back over here in the looking at the chat. We got Zeo Gold. Hello. Non-humanitarian anti-feminism. You guys, I haven't heard of you guys before, but welcome to the stream. I'm just giving a kind of a rough stream tonight. Just want to talk about a few things that came up, and yeah, I just felt like we had this innocent guy, the Ahmed, that came into it when we were just trying to find the guy. See, so when this Ahmed pops up, that's someone in real life who is actually being accused here. So I felt I had to right the ship, and I was real satisfied that everyone gave me credit for what I had done, and very, very satisfied with that. As where the Russian Deadpool thing, I didn't get any shout outs at all, didn't get any credit. So, and also even the thing in the Woolly Bumblebee thing, I'm the one who put out the video. Where's the police report? Woolly Bumblebee, I was in DMs with Bering. I'm the one who steered Bering into asking for the police report on the Woolly Bumblebee thing. And if you go over the Woolly Bumblebee thing, you have the exact same problems that we have here. We have this weird threat that just doesn't make sense. There's no good to come from it. Why is someone threatening like that? There's no motive, Like with the Woolly Bumblebee thing, it didn't make sense. There was no end game to the whole threat and the doxing. Her name is readily out there, so I forgot what the situation was. What were they even demanding on that? On the Woolly Bumblebee thing? I do not remember. I didn't have that thing pulled up. I didn't want to let you guys go through a bunch of silence. While I pull that up, the woolly bumblebee. It was the same thing. She was doxing herself, but on the woolly bumblebee one.
Hello, YouTube.
Here's it. Was it? They were. Let me refresh my memory. Oh, I'm going to kill you. That's the other thing. Both of those, they made direct. Usually people make very veiled threats if they're going to make any kind of threat. In the woolly bumblebee, I'm going to kill you, bitch. I'm going to get your kids. I'm going to get you and your kids. Very, very direct, very criminal threats. The Denise Green did the same thing. Like I said, it wasn't a natural. It seemed contrived. It wasn't a natural expression, even writing, because Denise Green said something like, "I will strike you if there wasn't the laws that would get me. I will strike you down." Very theatrical and just not natural expressions. Neither is this woolly bumblebee thing. I'm going to kill you, bitch. You can't accuse people like Bering of stealing shit. See, there was this just mad at that Bering said something in a video. It doesn't make sense to put out these very, very serious threats with no real, Bering stealing. What does Bering steal? I think he was copyright or something. Yeah, she was. That's trivial. Both of these are very, very trivial complaints that you are very seriously and very, overtly making criminal threats on. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. People, if your ex-wife is to take your kids, that's when you get mad about stuff like that. Not about annoyances and you said something about Bering in a video. I mean, there's a barrage of people complaining about each other in videos. There's just one little video where Bull Bumble says up Bering, but there's always it doesn't make sense. You always got to look at all the little things that are improbable, and just know that you don't know anything about the people that you're dealing with. They could be pedophiles, they could be war heroes. You don't know. You're just getting this online facade, and there's some people. There's some strange people. There's some crazy people. Anyway. That's all I wanted to say. Sorry I didn't put something together a little better, a little more organized, but I just had to figure out how to put this out and just kind of explain some things. And yeah, all right, everyone. I think I'm gonna go out with some music. How about some Serenity? Come on. Oh.